Well, welcome everybody. I am Melissa Haley, the CEO of Agent Advantage Coaching and Training and a real estate broker here in Texas. And we're going to have another episode here today of the Estate of Reality podcast. I'm joined by my fabulous co-host who's always here with me, Stephen Etzel. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing great. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Steve Etzel. I'm owner broker of Independent Realty, and I'm also an educator as well. And just like Melissa, we go all over the state of Texas.
Awesome stuff. All right. So Stephen and I have a fabulous guest today and a pretty cool topic. If you didn't know, April is Fair Housing Month. And so we thought we would not just talk about fair housing on the whole real estate side, where real estate agents are helping people buy and sell homes. Well, we thought we would invite Jake Perry here to talk about fair housing as it pertains to mortgages too. So we're going to kind of cover all of that. So Jake Perry, welcome. Would you tell everybody a little bit about yourself today?
I sure will. Melissa, thank you for having me. Glad to be here with you guys. Such beautiful hosts are hosting this thing today. So glad to be here. And a little bit about me. I am a loan officer, also a Trek instructor. I have been in the lending business for over 20 years now. I know that's hard to believe, but I have been in the game for a long time. And I am super pumped about fair housing because I believe in it. I believe in home ownership over time, and I'm super excited to talk about it. So I couldn't be happier to be here today. Thank you.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, wait, you said you've been in the business 20 years. So I'm just going to go ahead and go out there and say, I think you must have got in when you were like 5, right? Like you were just a young one when you started in the lending world.
They definitely got me early. I got straight out of college. I went to school. I grew up in the Dallas area and then went to college in East Texas. And as soon as I got out of college, I got hired straight into the mortgage business. So yeah, I got in early and have got to see the roller coaster, the ups and downs of this real estate life. Mostly ups, I should say. I'm a very happy to be in the business, and it's a great opportunity for us and that are in the business to help people.
I love that. That's why a lot of people get into real estate too. Stephen, you agree? We like to just help people, right?
Oh yeah, that's the number one focus.
Absolutely. All right. Well, so if we're going to talk about fair housing, we should probably like have some kind of baseline to start with. So, I think not everybody understands that. Stephen, when was the first fair housing stuff? When was the first fair housing law enacted?
1866. Civil
Wait,
Rights Act.
1866. It's like a really long time ago, sir. And then I believe that our current fair housing laws are based on the 1968
Yep.
fair housing laws, right? And that all of that today kind of makes what our fair housing laws are. So it took us 102 years and we still didn't have it right. And Stephen, do we have it right today?
No. let's just say they've evolved, 1974, 1988, and so on. But I think there's still a little bit more of involvement that needs to happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, as sad as it is, we've been trying for a long time. Some folks have been trying for a long time to really make it available for everybody in America to deserve to have the opportunity to buy a house, right? Now, not everybody qualifies for the mortgage, or maybe not everybody chooses to take advantage of it, but everybody should have an opportunity to have a place to lay their head, right? That's theirs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, so one of the things that, and I think, Jake, you kind of brought this up a little bit ago when we were kind of chatting before we got started today, is generational wealth. That I feel like most folks know, or at least have some reasonable thought that if you rent long term, you don't get that equity that you can build in a home as if you purchase the home. And that some of our fair housing laws that prohibited certain folks from being able to buy, technically, when you really think about it and you kind of chunk it all down, that history has really long-term implications because their families and their ancestors weren't able to get generational wealth. So, Jake, talk a little bit about renting versus owning and kind of what you see in the mortgage world as far as fair housing? Because this is kind of a big part of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So thanks for that intro, Melissa. So my thought on it is that it's one of those things they don't teach us in school. So there should be a high school or maybe a junior high or maybe an elementary school class on a couple of these things. Credit. We don't learn enough about credit growing up. We don't, they offer us the free t-shirt at school, and we sign up for a credit card and we think free money. Let's go celebrate. And we don't know that could impact us into our 20s and 30s. So that's one thing we don't know. And then another one on this topic is renting versus owning. So it's one of the most important concepts that I think people need to understand and learn. And that is that when you're owning, you have two big things that you're doing. One is that you're paying down a mortgage. So you're paying a balance down with every payment. And two, you're getting the benefits of appreciation. So those two things are building wealth. You're building wealth with those two kind of investment. They're almost investment vehicles is what I would describe them. And you don't get those things from renting. So one of the things that we like to do in our consultations is we like to compare when someone rents a house. Let's just say someone rents a house for 10 years and they rent, and their rent is $2,500 a month. After 10 years, they will have paid, let's just do the math on that, 2,500 times 12 times 10. They will pay $300,000 in rent in 10 years.
Ooh, you could buy a house for that.
Wow. Yeah, 250 to $300,000.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money. You could buy
That
out.
is yes.
So, okay. I love it that you did the math. So
Yeah.
$300,000 I've paid in rent over a decade. And what happens when I move out? Do I have equity?
You have no equity. You may even get a bill from the landlord for something that he wants you to pay it for his repairs. So yeah, you have no benefit there.
And another thing I try to tell people with generational wealth too, you can't will your lease to somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about that. You live there for 10 years and you want to give it to your child or something. You can't do that either.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, you don't own it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that. Because Jake, let me make sure I got it right. So if I buy a house and I'm paying $2,500 a month, so now I've bought this house and I'm paying, and yes, I have interest and I have homeowners insurance and my house payment. I have my property taxes and my house payment. So I have some other things that I'm paying. So maybe I've still paid in $300,000, but the house probably hadn't paid off in 10 years. But if I bought it for something 10 years later, I should expect to be able to sell it for probably more than I bought it, right? At least the same amount that I bought it for, probably more. And I still provided a roof over my head for me and for my family.
You also get tax breaks.
Yep. Yeah, you get good point, Stephen. You get the benefits of tax breaks that they give people that are homeowners. You get some deductions that you wouldn't otherwise get. But the two big things you get, one that I said earlier, is you're paying down a mortgage. So your balance is going down. So every month of that $2,500, somewhere between, let's just say, $400 and $1,000, depending on your type of loan and how your loan is set up, is paying down that mortgage every month. So you're getting that. So like someone that is, and it's good to look at how loans work and amortize over time. But towards the end, nearly all of that payment is going towards principal. So if you have a 15-year mortgage and that 10th, 11th, 12th year, most of that payment is actually paying down the loan. So that's almost like a savings account right there. And then the second part of it is appreciation. So the average appreciation rate in the U.S. is 3 to 5% every year. So you do the math on that, and a $300,000 house 10 years later is going to be worth around $450,000.
Yeah.
Another thing to think about, you can't pay a lease off quicker, but you can a mortgage. You know, you can double up payments, you can, make extra payments, so you can do bi-weekly